Journals. Welcome back to Journals in Time, and welcome if you're new. So today's video is going to be a little bit off-piste. I know we were doing the gatefold tri-flip envelope folio, but I just wanted to take a little hiatus from that to do this video today. So Cheryl Tallafuss, one of our wonderful community members, Junk Journal community members, has had a bit of a tragedy happen in her family. Her daughter was in a workplace incident where she got really badly burned, over 62% of her body. She's in a critical but stable condition in hospital, and my thoughts and prayers are going out to Cheryl and her family that Lindsey continues to improve. But Cheryl managed to get some little bit of space and a little bit of calm for herself for the first time since this happened, I would imagine. And she sat in her craft room and she did a video, and I thought that was very brave and very, just so resilient of her. I mean, Cheryl's been really through the mill this year. My heart really goes out to her and to her family. So yeah, she got some space and she sat in her craft room and she started making these little decorations, tree decorations. They're made from doilies. This is a snowflake and an angel, and she said she used to make these with Lindsey and her other children when they were children. So I thought it would be nice to kind of come on, and I crafted along with Cheryl. These are the ones I crafted along with Cheryl, and I just thought it would be nice to come along and show you guys the crafts as well. Now please do go over and check out Cheryl's video as well. I will link it below, and show her some love and some support through this very difficult time for her. I'm sure she would appreciate your support over there. I know that Cheryl really does love this community, and she gives so much to everybody. She's such a supportive person, and I think it behooves us to be there to support her too when she needs it. So we are going to make these. Now Cheryl also asked for people to send Christmas cards or cards to Lindsey, so I am going to be sending a card to Lindsey, and they're going to decorate up her hospital room if they can. So yeah, so I'll be sending a card, but I'm also going to make one of each of these and pop them in with the card, and I think it would be nice for Lindsey to see all of these from different people when she wakes up. So if you are sending a card to Lindsey, maybe you could pop one in with your card, or if you haven't heard about sending a card and things like that, maybe you would like to. I will leave the details of that below. I will have to ask Cheryl's permission to do that, but if anybody is particularly wanting to do that and I can't leave the address below, just contact me and I'll see if I can sort something out for you. So yeah, so I'm going to be making a couple of these, one of each of these, for the card for Lindsey, and we're going to kind of bring them up a little bit as well. These are just the basic forms. I haven't done anything to them, and I'm going to make the angel one slightly different on this one as well, I think. Just very slightly, not a whole lot. I'll show you some variations that Cheryl showed us as well along the way. So we'll do the snowflake first, I think, okay? So for the snowflake, you need 5 doilies, and I am using doilies that are roughly 6 inches. These ones. I only have 2 of these pretty ones, so I'm going to use one of these for the angel, I think. So I'm going to set those ones aside, and I can choose then, do I want this one or this one? These ones are far prettier, so let's use these ones. And that is a piece that I have left over from my first make. So we need 5 of these. So what we need to do, we need to fold this in half. And we're not going to crease all the ways. I'm just going to mark the halfway point here in the center, okay? And then I'm going to take each side, I'm going to open it up, take the side and fold that into that center point, making it as straight as you can, which can be challenging when you're folding a circle, I have to say. So I'm going to get that creased in. I'm going to fold it around the other side and do the same thing into the center. And crease that down. Okay, and actually these are the wrong size. I used the wrong size doilies for this one. These are 8 inches, so we're going to find some 6-inch ones if possible. I don't think I have any 6-inch ones left. Oh no. Okay, I've used all my 6-inch ones, so I'm going to show you with the 8-inch ones. It will still be pretty. I mean, it's not going to make that, it'll be just a larger snowflake. I will probably end up sending, I can't send this one now because I need it to leave it flat. I will possibly end up sending this one if I can separate it and fold it flat for sending. But we'll see. We'll see. I might just have to go and buy some new doilies. But we'll work along with the 8-inch one for the time being. Okay, so we have our little, wouldn't that make a beautiful kind of slip in like a belly band? Absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to take our glue and we're going to, from around the halfway point, take that off. From around the halfway point, it can be a little bit below, it can be all the ways below, it doesn't matter. We're going to glue up about that much. Okay? And I'm going to do the very same on the other side. And we don't want any glue getting off of this edge. We don't want it on this piece because we don't want to glue that shut. Okay? So there we have that one. We're going to take our doily and we're going to fold it up in half. We're going to match the top edges, corner to corner. Now, not all doilies are perfectly aligned. A small bit out of line won't make that much of a difference, but try and get it as accurate as you can. We're going to press that into place. I'm just going to make sure there's no glue sticking there. Okay, so that is our prep done for that piece. I'm going to go and do the very same thing with the other 4, and I'll be right back to you guys. Okay, so we have all 5 of these folded up. Now, Cheryl did point out in her video as well, wouldn't these make adorable pockets? She's not wrong, I will give her that. They're absolutely adorable. So, yeah, there's an idea for your junk journals if you wanted to make these for your junk journals. Fold them up, away you go, you have a little gusseted pocket. Absolutely cute, cute, cute. Okay, so what are we getting on with? This is going to make quite a large snowflake, and you know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing either. I quite like that idea of having them different sizes. So try it with different size doilies and see what happens. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take one of these. We are going to get glue all along this edge down here. And then on the center point, I can still see my little mark for my center point. We're going to take it up about, I would say this is actually about 3/4 of an inch on this one. And it depends on the size of your doily, I would imagine. You kind of want it enough that it'll stay glued to the next one, but not so much that it doesn't open up either. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay, so we have our glue on there. I'm going to take another one and we're going to go corner to corner and get these lined up nicely, or as nice as you can, because like I said, not all doilies are exactly symmetrical and all the rest of that, so your folds might be a tiny bit off. Like mine is a tiny bit off here, and that's okay. So get that nicely in place, get it pressed down with your glue, and we're going to take our glue again and we're going to do the very same thing on this one. We're going to put the next one on top and we're going to do all 5 of them stacked like this. Okay, so glue along the bottom edge about, if you're using 8-inch doilies like me, I'm doing about 3/4 of an inch. If you're using smaller ones, maybe use a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch. Whatever you think will work. Okay, so we're going to get the next one, stack that on top. I'm going to continue until I have all 5. Okay, so there we have a stack of 5 all put together. I think these are dry enough, and what will happen, this will come around and it will make a beautiful snowflake. Isn't that adorable? Okay, so before we do that part, we need to get our center point and our string in, like this, see? And it'll be able to, it's so pretty when it spins like that, and it's very easy to blow it spin as well. Like that. So the slightest little breeze will make these spin and twirl, and they'll be very pretty. Even if you have them on your own tree, or you know, whatever, they will look amazing. And we will be blinging these up as well. I should probably have done that before I made it up. I know Cheryl was doing it afterwards, so it is possible, but I'm not quite as neat as Cheryl. But let's give it a go. First things first, we need to get our pin down here. Okay, so you'll need a pin. Now, Cheryl was using a beautiful pearl-headed pin. I don't have any pearl-headed pins, but I do have just a regular sewing pin with a white head. So I'm going to use that. Now, you could obviously use whatever colour you want. A little blue one might be nice as well. And I do have these pearl head brads, but I'm wondering if the legs might be a little bit too obtrusive and not long enough either to kind of keep it in place. But it would look pretty. I don't think it'll work. Maybe we could try it. We'll try it. We'll give it a go. I'll keep my pin there just in case I do need it. I have a little magnet here that I can stick that to, so it doesn't get lost. And what we're going to do, we're going to tie our string, and I'm just using a yarn or wool as we call it here, with a silver kind of thread going through it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. It's just got a nice silver thread running through it, so it's simple but pretty. So we're going to make a loop here. We're going to just tie a knot around the legs of the brad, okay? Just like that. Get that little bit snipped off out of our way. And we are going to put quite a bit of glue down the center point. Now, because I want to flat pack this to send it away, and I think I will actually send this one. I think it would be nice to have a larger one as well as the shorter ones. So yeah, because I want to send it away, I'm not going to actually fully close this, but I will show you exactly how it's done. And you can always hop over to Cheryl's channel, like I said, and have a peek at what she did. So I'm just putting glue here where the brad legs are going to go, and I'm putting quite a bit of glue just to make sure that that brad stays in place. And I'm going to lay that down there just so that the head of the brad comes above the top of my doilies, like that. Okay, so I'm just going to keep that in place. But if you're making it up completely, you would run your glue all the ways down the center spine and your 3/4 inch here, and then fold it over and shut it. Okay, and that is how that works, and that is what it ends up looking like. And I think they are absolutely adorable. So I have to say thank you, Cheryl, for the inspiration as well. I love these things. Now I will probably end up putting some double-sided tape on this as well. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. That will help keep it in place while the glue dries, and the backing can be removed when it gets to its destination and folded around. And in that vein, I am going to put a strip of double-sided tape down here and up here so that it can just be taken apart. There's no gluing involved for the guys then when they get it. Okay, so I'm going to use slightly wider tape down here. And because I know this is going to Cheryl, who created these in the first place, I know that she will know what to do with these for Lindsey. Okay, I'm just going to fold that around the spine, get it adhered into place nicely. That's my bone folder here. And we need one more piece, about 3/4 inch, or less actually, about 1/2 inch here, because this is already coming across about 1/4 inch. Do slightly smaller. Get that adhered on. I'm actually going to use the narrower tape there. That would make more sense, would it not? Silly me. Get that into place there. And hopefully, when Cheryl gets this, she'll be able to just take off the tape, the double-sided, she'll be able to just take the backing off of the tape and swivel it around and stick it together. That is the idea there anyway. So then it will look like that with our little pearl in the top. Sure you guys get the idea of what I'm trying to say here. I hope this brad stays in place. It doesn't appear to be wanting to right now. I might have to go fiddling with that a little bit more. But that is the basic idea. And we have our string. I'm going to leave it this length, and I'm going to leave them decide how far up they want the loop themselves. Okay? So I'm going to package that into the card for Lindsey. And before I go any further, do I want to do the edges? Okay, so I'm going to attempt to get some glitter on these edges. I would advise, actually, if you are doing these and you want to get glitters and things on them, probably best to do them before you glue them all together. Like when you have each one of the doilies folded but still separate. Or you could just do the whole edge of your doily if you wanted to. But yeah, I would advise to do it before you get to this point, okay? Yeah, so I'm going to go off and attempt that, and I'll come back and show you guys. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've gotten glitter glue in the end is what I chose, along the edges of these pieces. Now the only way I could figure to do this was to temporarily glue the two back pieces to my glass mat. I'm hoping that they will just lift nicely when I go to lift them. And I've also done this one, so it is manageable. It's not very apparent at the minute. I'm hoping that once it dries I'll be able to show you better. Okay, I also managed to get glue all over my clothes. As you do. There we go. This is what I was looking for. I was looking for my little cloth to get that off of my sleeve. Okay, so I'm actually going to leave these sit overnight to dry, and I will come back and we'll finish up in the morning. We'll get the angel and things like that done in the morning, simply because I don't want to move this one, because it'll all end up sticking together and all the rest of that. Plus it's getting a bit late here and it is cold in my craft room. So yeah, we'll pick it up in the morning, guys, okay? Well, good morning, guys. I'm back. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I have taken this off of the glass mat, and just a word to the wise, if there is something stuck to your mat like that and you're having trouble getting it off, just dampen it. Particularly with water-based glues, if you just dampen the surface, like I just dampened here and dampened here, and then after a few minutes it's much easier to lift it off. Don't wet it, dampen it. So yeah, just a quick tip for you. So this is how we're looking right now. Can you see that glittery sparkle and shine? Okay, so that is going to look very, very pretty when it twirls and spins and catches the light and all the rest of that. It's not the neatest job, and I'm okay with that, considering how I had to go about doing it. But yeah, that's what it's going to look like. Ooh, I have it upside down. And my pin does seem to be staying in place for now anyway. So yeah, all good. So that's what that looks like. We would just go ahead, take off our tapes and stick that together, and we're good to go. Okay, so there's our snowflake done. And onto the angel. I do need to actually, sorry, I need to go back and do these edges with the glue as well. These ones were the ones that were stuck to the table, and they just need doing while it's freestanding now, and that should be easy enough to do. Just kind of like this. Okay, so I'll get that done later. So onto our angel. Okay, so I am using, I think this is an 8-inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, close enough to an 8-inch. It's kind of 7.5 inches really. So that's what I'm using here. Now this was one of these guys. It's just a plain doily. So I took my embossing powders and I just went very roughly around the edges of this with my embossing pad, got my powder on there and heated it up, and I did that on both sides. Okay, so when Cheryl was making her angel, she cut a doily in half and used that. I am leaving my doily whole. I am going to fold it so that the edges are offset, so we're getting a bit more of a frill there, you know. It's not perfect, and these doilies aren't symmetrical to fold in half either, which kind of, you know, but they are very pretty. So I'm going to do it that way, and that way every surface that is seen has the gold embossing on it, okay? So I'm going to leave it doubled for extra frill, shall we say. So the next step then is to take your doily that's been either cut or folded in half, kind of pinch it in the middle a little bit, just kind of hold it here in the middle. This is how I'm doing it. And fold down your two little corners like so until they come to a point. Now it is difficult enough to get this glued into place, and if you were doing this for your own tree at home or whatever, you would not want any creases in it, but because I know I am sending this out, it's going to be packaged flat anyway, I'm going to actually lay mine down like this and get it glued into place like this. You just want a tiny overlap there just to keep it in place, okay? So I'm going to get my glue. Now it's going to be a tiny overlap here, but it's going to be slightly bigger overlap down at the bottom, okay? That's just the nature of working with circles. So I'm going to get my glue and get that down along there. Get our piece folded over into where we want it and let it get dried. Let the glue dry there before you go moving it. Okay, so then we have this little cone shape. Now mine obviously have slight creases, so it's not perfectly round, but if you just kind of bring your edges around and glue them without actually flattening them, it'll be nice and cone shaped. This isn't too bad, I didn't press too hard on those creases. And we have the nice embossing on the inside as well as on the outside, and it looks all nice and fluffy and fancy. Okay, so I have these gold doilies and I want to use these for the wings. I also have one circle cut. I need to cut another circle, and I'm just wondering, do I want that size? I used this size for the larger one, so I think I may need a smaller one here. No, you know what, that actually still works. I'll just bring it down lower. So I just need to cut one more of those. So we have two discs cut from white cardstock, and I am going to take some of this very delicate little trim, and I'm going to give her a little halo. I'm just going to get that stuck down kind of in a little curved shape like so, and I am going to do that with my tacky glue, and I'm just going to give it the tiniest amount of glue on the actual trim itself. Don't do it on the paper. We're going to try and be as neat as possible here. And to that end, I am actually going to leave my glue just sit for a minute or so to set up a little bit so that it's not sliding all over the place when I put it down. When this goes down, I want to make sure it goes down and stays stuck, that I'm not trying to lift it to get glue under it. It's just a very delicate trim. So let's get that down there. Like so. There we have a little halo on her. I think that is adorable. So cute. So the next thing we need to figure out is where we want to position our wings. No, I'm actually going to position the headpiece first. So we need to figure out a string for this then. Okay. And I think I will use that same white that I used on the other one. Even though it is silver going with gold, I'm okay with that at Christmas anyway. There we go. Now at this point you can add beads and things to your string. I'm not going to, because I want to flat pack this for postage. but if I was using it myself, I would double my string, put some beads on, and then glue it into place. Or you could do it afterwards, actually. You could glue it into place and then get your beads on afterwards. And I think for this, I'm going to use double-sided tape. So I'm just going to take a piece of double-sided tape and get it onto... I'm actually going to make it as wide as I can. Here. Take the backing off. Get my string into place, like so. I'm going to get another piece of double-sided tape over that. And I am going to trim my string a little bit below that tape. Then I'm going to cover the whole lot with glue. Take our other piece, place that on top. Just realised I didn't get the string or glue on this string down here. Making sure it's oriented so that our little halo is kind of central on that string. That should be sitting straight. And get that pressed into place. Okay, so that's our little head of our angel. I'm going to get this glued into place here. There, looks about right. Get some glue on there. Now you can flatten the tip of this as well and glue it kind of on half of the doily. I had decided not to, but I think I'm going to have to, so I'm just flattening that tip there like that. It will pop out again afterwards, the back part will. So I'm just going to wait for that to dry a little, making sure she's all nice and straight. Wouldn't it be lovely to see a lot of these from different people and see the differences in them between the different doilies, the different ways of blaying them up, the different size of circles and things like that? I think it would be fabulous to see. Okay, so I think that is glued enough for now. So there we have almost full angel. We just need to put on our wings. And I need to figure out what I want to do with these wings, because there are several ways to do them. Like I said, we could just literally take our smaller doily, position them where we want them, and glue them in place like so. Okay, and that's what she would look like, and that's very sweet. But I want to just play around and see if there is a better way to do this. Not a better way, but just a more pleasing way for me, I think. So I'm going to fold this in half. I have several of these gold doilies, so I'm not too worried about mucking up. So we could use just half of the doily and give her little wings like that, or like that, which I think is actually really sweet. I think I'm actually going to go with that. I think that is adorable. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I'm so happy with that. I'm not even going to investigate further. I'm so happy with that. Okay, so we're going to do it straight side to the top. And I'm going to have it so that the straight edge here is kind of just coming to where the circle of her head and the cone meet here. And I think that looks about perfect. So you can see on the back, that's where it'll be positioned. Let's get our glue on. Oh, that's so sweet. And that is how she looks. Oh, so cute. I love that. I love how that turned out. Okay, So that is my angel for Lindsey and my snowflake for Lindsey. One or the other. I'm still not sure. I really like this one, so I'm still kind of undecided as to these, which one to send. But if you would like to send a card and an angel and a snowflake, or just a card or just an angel or just a snowflake or whatever, to help support Lindsey and make her feel supported and loved in her recovery from this horrible, horrible accident, like I said, I will try to leave maybe the address below if I can get permission from Cheryl to do so. If not, contact me and I will arrange to get the address to you. Okay, Cheryl, if you were watching, know that Lindsey and your family are in my thoughts. I am sending love and strength your way every day. You're not far from my thoughts at all these days. And yeah, so here's hoping for a continued strong recovery from Lindsey. Much love to you, sweetheart. Okay, guys, that is it from me for today. Oh yes, one last thing. There is actually a GoFundMe set up for Lindsey. She is going to need a multitude of operations to get past this accident. She's got lots of dermabrasions and things like that coming up. So there is a GoFundMe set up. I will link that below as well if you wanted to help out in that way as well. Okay, so that is it for me for today. I will be back. My next video will be back to that gatefold triple envelope flip folio. And yeah, we'll continue on with that. But for now, go make some snowflakes and angels. I will talk to you all very, very soon, guys, in the next video. Bye.